Hello, this is Robert Capucci. I'd like to thank you for joining us for another PT on the Net video interview. Today we're going to examine movement assessment and what to do with that assessment in terms of exercise selection, progression, and regression. And to explore this subject matter is Movement First founder Chris McGrath, who is also a master trainer for Great Cooks FMS. Chris, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Bobby.
Now, Chris, when we take a look at movement patterns, let's say a squat pattern, basic enough. A lot of times when our clients are having challenges within that pattern of movement, we often blame tightness as the culprit. Is that true? And if so, how do we know? What do we do about it?
Well, obviously it always can be true that we see tightness as a possible issue when people don't move well, but we don't want to jump to that conclusion. And some of the common assessments, like with a functional movement screen, we do an overhead squat or some other squatting assessments that are out there. And we'll quite often look and see somebody that looks restricted, but we can't jump to conclusions and assume that they're tight. In a lot of cases, we actually find that there's more of a stability issue, so we want to try to clear that and find out, is this person tight or is this person actually unstable?
Well, how exactly do we go about determining that in a way that's easy for our client and expeditious as well?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of quick things that we do with the squat in particular where, again, if we watch somebody do a squat as our overhead squat, we like to see somebody can get down into a deep position, get below parallel. We like to see their arms stay up over their feet, etc. So if we see somebody that does a squat that doesn't get very low, we want to see if they're actually tight or if they're weak. So we'll put them down on the floor, bring their arms up overhead, and we'll try to clear and see if they have shoulder issues, if they have any tightness in the shoulders, and then really the big thing is we'll pull them into the position here. So we see hip flexion, we see knee flexion, and we'll try to get them into some active dorsiflexion. If we see somebody has a tough time pulling into this, like they're going into like a reverse crunch, they may be tight. There's probably a good chance that they're tight. But a lot of times we'll see people just pull right into this position and have no problems getting there. So if that's the case, we also like to turn them around and check out dorsiflexion of their ankle. This is loaded, but we do like to see if they can hold a position here, get their knees past their toes, and if they can do that without the heel coming off, again, there's a good chance that they're not tight anywhere in the squatting pattern. So if that's the case, we don't want to put them on a stretching program. We put them on a stretching program and giving the wrong medication for an exercise that they are not tight for. So a couple of things that we'll do, we try to unload it, and one of the great tools to be able to unload a squat and help re-educate the pattern, we'll think about this from the ground up, is a TRX. So the TRX, we can just simply hang back on this, start in a position where your feet are underneath you and you can stand on your own, and we'll actually have you hang back, literally collapse into a squat. And if the back is rounded a little, not a big deal. What we want to then do is pull you into the bottom position of the squat and get all the checkpoints, your shin in line with your spine, and we have some handles here so that you can actually support your body weight and then pull up and almost do like a tricep press a little bit into the squat. So again, it looks like just like this, hanging down, pulling into it, getting a position, and trying to drive up from the ground up. And we quite often see a lot of people do a much better job with their squats just by training them from the ground up, which is the first way to learn how to squat.